Krunk Crew, what is up with you? I'm Kyle Krunk, and I'm going to be your host for the Krunk Crew Debrief. This is our very first episode. It's the inaugural episode of the Krunk Crew Debrief. So, let's kick it off. Let's get it started. A little bit about myself and a little bit about what this is. This is my new podcast. If you don't know who I am, my name's Kyle. I'm a 28-year-old Marine Corps veteran, and I stream on Twitch pretty frequently. And I'm a big fan of podcasts. I'm a big fan of knowledge. And I just figured it'd be really cool to have an outlet to talk about whatever things interested me throughout the week. And figure out what you guys are thinking about everything that's going on. See if you guys are interested in the same things I am. And yeah. But like I said, this being the inaugural episode of the podcast, I will go into a little bit more detail about myself if you don't know who I am. I'm 28 years old. I grew up, born and raised here in the northern part of Kentucky / Cincinnati, Ohio area. We call it the tri-state area. It's just a nice little Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky all right here. And I grew up here, went to school here, graduated high school here in 2009. And then I went to college for a year at the University of Kentucky. Found out over that year, just school is, as much as I enjoy obtaining knowledge, doing it in the format of school just really wasn't for me. Wasn't what I needed at the time. And I left University of Kentucky and I joined the Marine Corps. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps as the MOS, the military occupation specialization. It was 0651. It's not currently an MOS in the Marine Corps anymore. Cyber network specialist. I think they've combined it with another one. They have like the network side. They've made it a lot different since I was in. But that was 2011 that I joined. Did 4 years in the Marine Corps. Went to boot camp at Paris Island, South Carolina. Went to my comm school for that MOS I was telling you about in California, and then spent the majority, 99% of the time, in a unit called 2-8. If you see that picture on the top left of the intro screen, that's me and some of the 2-8. That's my foot on the chair. Don't think anything weird. That's me and some of the 2-8 boys during a field op. So those are my brothers. It's a home away from home at 2-8. Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Many bad and good memories there. And got out of the Marine Corps, kept doing IT. I was actually doing IT before the Marine Corps too, at the University of Kentucky. I've always been interested in computers and gaming and all that kind of stuff, like my entire life. I'll tell you a funny story about that in a moment. Let me finish what I was saying about the Marine Corps and all that. So I got out of the Marine Corps and continued doing IT here in the civilian sector. I moved back to northern Kentucky where my wife was still at the time. I didn't mention that before, telling all these things about myself. I am married. Been married to my wife, Michelle, since 2012. We're coming up here on our 7-year wedding anniversary, so it's yeah. So got out, came back home to Kentucky, did IT some more, and then about 2 years into doing IT after I got out of the Marine Corps, my job actually got outsourced, and long story short, that happened. Then I started trying to stream on Twitch more, and over all that time, over all those years and stuff, I watched Joe Rogan's podcast. Everybody watches his podcast, JRE. I think I've seen almost every episode since like late 800s, and he's on like 1200 or 1300 now. Like I've been watching it for a few years pretty consistently. And then even once I started streaming, I had good friends of mine that were also streamers. Good friend of mine, Drunky, he was doing his own stream already at the time, and then started another stream, Fortnite based, or not stream, podcast, I should say, Fortnite based. And yeah, it's one of those things. I always had in my mind, like, man, I need to jump on a podcast with somebody else. I need to get like a friend with me, and we need to get a podcast going. Um, and then I just had this mindset of like, I had it too tied into somebody else being involved. Like, I need somebody else, and then we'll both do a podcast together. And people that I was good friends with or I enjoyed talking to or whatever, I'd always be like, mention, hey man, you ever think about doing a podcast? It'd be cool. And then one day it just hit me. I was in the shower, perfect place, shower thoughts, you know how that goes. And I said, yeah, Krunk Crew Debrief. I put a name on it. The name just came to me. And once I had a name on it, the rest of it fell into place. I was like, I don't need anybody else. I'm just doing this myself. I'll figure out what I want to talk about. I'll keep notes throughout the week, and then I'll do it a weekly thing, and it'll be a debrief over the week. Here's what I freaking looked up. Here's what I learned. Here's this or that. What's going on with you? So maybe in the future there'll be room for guests, but as of right now, I think I'm gonna do a couple solo and see how it goes. This isn't gonna be something I edit at all. This is gonna be one take from the intro to the end. There's not gonna be cut edits. There's not gonna be like intro cut edit, any of that. I'm gonna try my best to show if there's things we're talking about, show the articles, show what whatever I'm talking about, where it's coming from. So yeah, here we are, kicking it off. First podcast. Excited. What was the funny story I said I was going to tell you? Funny story, I'll tell you about that on Mrs. Damn. That's a bad thing about it, though, because you go to talk, and I'm only here. I don't have anyone else to be like, oh, that's what you were saying. Anyone else to, I need a young Jamie. I was talking about IT, Marine Corps, shibbity shabbity. All right, whatever. I lost it. Maybe it'll come back to me. It's been a pretty crazy week for me. I've had like internet issues all week, and then all week last week, and then I thought I had them fixed, and then they were good all week this week, and then I started having internet issues last night again. So I'm hoping this freaking IT guy texts me back, because he gave me his number. Text him if it happens, and he said he'd look it up and check it out what was going on. And I was like, all right. So then I did. I texted him today, and that's what's happening. So yeah, a couple things I'm gonna get out of the way. You will see me vaping during these streams, drinking drinks, eating food, whatever. I'm gonna, I'm just here to talk, and this is a place for us to share our feelings. No, this is just this is my little safe area, and if you guys don't necessarily agree with it, whatever it is, it's something that helped me quit smoking, and I know that there's always, someone's got to chime in, well, you shouldn't do that. Well, guess what? You clicked on my face. As Dave Chappelle says. Something that helped me quit smoking. It's something that was a major plus in my life. My wife is actually a zookeeper, and they sign a contract that says they will not smoke they will not partake in nicotine, cigarettes, tobacco. It's part of their contract. It's businesses can say they don't want you to do whatever, it's their choice. One of the things that zookeepers agree to is, I'm not going to smoke cigarettes. So just like everything else, they get randomly drug tested, and in their screening, they also screen for nicotine. So with that being said, as my wife was getting her dream job as a zookeeper, I was getting towards the very end of my Marine Corps enlistment, and I knew I was about to be coming home. And I had smoked cigarettes for about 5 years, and I dipped for about 10, chewing tobacco, dip. And I just knew, for her, I knew I needed to quit dipping, A, because my gums were really bad, and B, I knew if I smoked cigarettes, it was kind of a pain because you have to go outside every time, and then all of her clothes and all my clothes are all going to smell like smoke. And then in my mind, I played these scenarios where like now they're going to be suspicious of her smelling like smoke. So I had friends around me in the Marine Corps at the time that were vaping. This is 2014. This is before it got really big and hugely popular. Um, so I quit smoking and took up vaping then, and it helped me quit smoking. Like a week after I started vaping, I couldn't even like really smoke cigarettes, and ever since then, it's been nice for me because it's still all the positives that I enjoyed out of smoking. You know, the relaxation, the just chill out, but almost 90, I'd say 99.9% of the negatives are gone. All the carcinogens, all the bad chemicals, but you know, this isn't going to be a place to debate vaping. This is also not going to be a place where I'm not going to sit here and frequently say, you know, like, comment, subscribe, you know, whatever. If you like the content, you're going to subscribe. If you like the video, you're going to like it. And if there's something you want to say, there's a comment section below and we can have a discussion there. You guys know that all already before you go here. You guys know how YouTube works. I'm not here to remind you how YouTube works. So, that's not, I'm not going to be that guy that after everything, single thing I says, you know, tell me what you think in the comments below, which there are a lot of YouTubers I like. I see that and I get it. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, bro, they know how YouTube works. So after every other sentence, after every new subject, you don't need to mention, well, but tell me what you think. Or like, it's almost, sometimes it's almost like a game. If you watch some YouTube videos, it's like a game. Like they're trying to trick you into, they're trying to like slip that in there without you knowing it. They're trying to trick you into it. Like, yeah, but if you disagree, just let me know down below. Or just, there's some, I've heard so many different variations of it. It's crazy. I'm really kind of bugged right now that I don't know what I said. I was like, oh, that's a funny story. I'll tell you about that later. And then I didn't tell you about it later. And that's going to bug me forever. Fun fact about me. I have really bad ADHD, something I've struggled with my whole life. You know, I grew up taking a lot of different medicines for it. I had to get a waiver to join the Marine Corps. If you've ever taken ADHD medicine to join the Marine Corps, you have to have been off of it for a certain amount of years. You have to have a waiver, all this stuff. Um, so one of the things that comes with is I'm thinking at any given moment about like 100 different things, and some people just don't have the capacity to think about a lot of different things at once, and they just are really good at focusing on something and taking care of it. For me, I can be focusing on something and then thinking about 3 other things that I'm semi focused on, and then 17 things are in the background that are just like waiting to, like, all right, well, that's got a little bit of pause in the focus department. You're not really making any progress on that thought. Move that out of the way. Now I'm thinking about these extra 10 things that are down the road, but I'm also thinking about the main thing I'm talking about. So, um, that's why you'll see a lot of times I'll be in the middle of a story or in the middle of talking and I want to branch off into something else because it's like, ooh, piece of candy, ooh, piece of candy. Conversations are like, ooh, piece of candy. I think of something else that I remember, ooh, piece of candy, ooh, piece of candy. So I get really excited about it and I just want to talk about it, you know? The downside with that is if you put those things off, you can lose them because they get like shuffled back into the deck of 100 thoughts that you currently have, you know? So, you know, it's got its ups and downs, but that is definitely a down when you lose your train of thought, because now one of those 100 things I'm thinking about is like searching for that at all times. Like, what the hell was that? And then I'm gonna rewatch this video at some point. I don't even, you know, before I upload, whatever the case is, and be like, oh damn. And then if that's the case, if I don't get back to whatever it is, I'm gonna mark it and we're gonna talk about it on the Krunk Crew Debrief #2. I'm gonna try to do these weekly. Try to have them done, recorded and or posted both on Friday or Friday/Saturday. So weekly thing. Um, and I really just want to see where we can go with it. See if you guys kind of enjoy this kind of format. I really enjoy the kind of content that I can throw on my phone. And then, hey, I got to take a shower, set my phone somewhere in the bathroom, take a shower, and just listen to it. That's the content that I really, really deviate towards myself. So that's what I also like to kind of, that's what I'm kind of thinking of when I'm making this. Let me pull up my notes here. All right. We got some things stuff. So yeah. If you see here, you guys can always follow me on these different social media platforms. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction because I got notes up now over it, but I stream almost every day on Twitch. You can find me there, and I use Twitter to tell you when I'm gonna stream and not stream on Twitch. You know, we've been playing a lot of really fun games lately. It's getting to that time of year. We're about to have the newest and last edition of Star Wars that's going to close out the entire storyline of these 9 movies coming up here in December. The recording of this is taking place on November 22nd. So we're a couple days away from Thanksgiving, actually. But Star Wars is big right now. Star Wars is the thing. Excuse me. Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order just came out not too long ago on the 15th. It hasn't even been, it's been a week. And probably the best game I've played this year. Probably the best game I've played this year. I do have one YouTube video up on this game where it's the first mission full playthrough after the game release, shortly after release. It was when I was having internet issues a week ago, so I recorded content offline. Bing, bang, boom. There it is. Hope you like it. I don't know how to even like link other videos, so I'm not even going to tell you that I'm doing that. I mean, I could put it in the description, but that's not what this is for. But yeah, we played the first mission offline, posted that to YouTube, and then we streamed the rest of it, and we're knocking out like 8, 9, 8, you know, bigger streams, and just really enjoying every minute of it. I didn't want to beat it all too fast. I probably could have done it in 2 sittings, but I didn't. And then that leads me to my first note that I have here, which is the replayability of Star Wars. The only 2 issues I have with this game, which, like I said, best game I played in 2019, I think. The only 2 complaints I had were a slight gameplay mechanic about how enemies respawn when you do a save point, but I understood that one. It was just a nuisance. Now, this next one isn't a nuisance. I don't understand. After you beat the final mission, now no spoilers, after you beat the final mission, the credits pop up, as do with most games, once you beat the main content. And then once the credits are done, it loads you back into the game on your ship, and it tells you, hey, we loaded you back into the game on your ship. We loaded you into the game right before that final mission you just did. By the way, that final mission you just did is not replayable. Feel free to explore the rest of the game. So pretty much, they put you back into the game with no acknowledgement of what you have just completed, that was finishing the game. Tell you, you're not going to be able to replay that or re-experience that on this play. No. You can maybe, you know, start a new game, beat the whole game again, and then you do re-experience it. Can't re-experience it on this playthrough. We're going to not even acknowledge that you've done that, but you can explore the rest of the universe. Now, I have a huge issue with that. As a game developer, what sense of accomplishment do I have now? They've already, I believe, mentioned that they're not going to have like a new game plus mode, which is you're not familiar with that mechanic, the way that usually works is, say you beat a game from point A to point B and you're level 10 at the end of the game, max level 10 at the end of the game, you beat it, boom. Now, new game plus mechanics usually work like this. You start back over at the start of the game, but you're still that level 10, and now sometimes they either let you increase your level from 10 to whatever, or you just stay level 10 throughout the entire time that you play through this time, but all the enemies have now scaled and the loot has scaled for you too. Most games have some sort of secondary or tertiary leveling system that allows you to level up in some way. But this is the first time. This is the first time I think I can recall that I've ever seen a game let you beat it, tell you that you can't replay that mission, and also not acknowledge it. Like, I think there's been other games, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but in my memory, I feel like there's been other games that you beat it and you might not be able to replay the final mission, but they at least have acknowledged that it's happened. Like, the universe, maybe there's NPCs, they'll say something like, hey, great job doing this or that. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe the dialogue has changed with this character or that character, but there's that acknowledgement that you've achieved the purpose of the entire game. What I'm not asking for a participation ribbon or anything, but what am I supposed to walk away with at the end of that game saying, hell yeah, I feel accomplished? Because I can't ever load up that same play file without being like, all right, well, say I want to go 100% everything, cool. Now I have 100% at everything. What do I do now? I just leave it there and I never touch this file again? Even if you 100%ed it, it'd be nice to be able to redo that last bit. Like, here, I think a good example, I'm pretty sure Skyrim, once you beat, whatever content you beat, yeah, it's obviously a different type of game, more open world, blah, blah, blah. But you get thrown back into the world, and you continue on with your life. I have no problem with getting thrown back on my ship saying, can't play the last mission, but at least don't make me feel like I'm in a universe. I'm in some cracked out multiverse where this shit never even existed that I did. All the things I did didn't even exist. Like, what? Why would I want to be in this place? So, the replayability of the game for me has come down to pretty much just, I'm gonna start a new play on maybe a little bit higher of a difficulty, and I'm gonna play it again. But that old file can fuck off. As far as I'm concerned, that entire playthrough didn't exist because of the way they made me feel at the end of it. And I know at the end of this playthrough, it's gonna happen again. I'm gonna feel like, what? Did this even exist? Does it count for anything? You know? I don't know. Something about that just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. So, now that we're rubbed the wrong way, let's move on to another game. With that being said, this is where I'm going to show you guys what I have been talking about. Borderlands 3 is getting some new content. The reveal of Borderlands 3's first campaign DLC on November 20th, so they revealed it. There's a Malawan. I've heard something about a Malawan takedown that's going to be happening. Let's read this. Get ready for a glimpse of your next big adventure, Vault Hunter. On Wednesday, November 20th, the full reveal trailer for DLC 1 will be making its big debut at 8 a.m. PST. At the exact same time, the third episode of the Borderlands show will kick off to deliver more insight into the Borderlands 3 first campaign DLC that's launching later this year. Borderlands regular host Greg Miller and Fran Mirabella. Is that Frank or Fran? Fran Mirabella from Kinda Funny will be joined by none other than the president, CEO, and co-founder of Gearbox Software Studios. Gearbox Studios. You call them studios. Why software? Randy Pitchford, as they take a look at what's coming in DLC 1 and discuss other news in the wild world of Borderlands. Make sure you don't miss this informative interview about the thrilling story, blah, blah, blah. That's already all happened. So that interview already happened. What I've been hearing stuff about a Malawan takedown. I do have that trailer up right here, so we can 53 seconds. Something to do with my.
Hey, sugar. I've got a little proposition for you, if you're feeling lucky. I'm talking loot, but not just any loot. Handsome Jack's Casino. This heist, it's personal. He stole my designs to build this place. Taking it back is scratching him out of my books forever.
Yeah, so what I got off this is what I'm seeing right here. Pretty much Borderlands take on Ocean's 11 with Moxie leading the run into Handsome Jack's Casino, at which point you're going to take it over, get a bunch of loot, and maybe it's a fun time. There's also something I thought I saw about the Malawan takedown. It could just be a very minor content ad that they put in, and that's why we're not seeing anything on it here. So there's that. I think I'm going to be rebranding again, and this next rebrand I think is going to stick. Actually, before we even talk about that, we'll put a tack in that and make that last. I have that on the notes, so I won't forget about that like the last thing. We got to talk about it because it just got announced. Elon Musk announces a Cybertruck. And it has been getting memed so hard. Warthog. I don't think it looks cool. I feel like it's got to be slightly a joke. And if I saw it, I'm going to laugh at it, but also be like, that person's extravagantly rich. I don't know. It's getting memed on super, super hard. I don't know. I don't know what to think. Everybody else has a lot to think about that. I don't know what to think. It's just insane. I would never want to own one. I mean, I've never been a big truck guy. That's just, I don't know. It looks crazy. I don't even really have much to say about this. I just wanted to bring it up. Cybertruck. Maybe we'll just clickbait it in the title. Just kidding. All right, this is what I put a pin in. The rebrand, the one and only rebrand we're going to be sticking with throughout the foreseeable future. I wanted to move away from like the Viking-esque theme and the theme where I'm like the guy, I'm the emblem, the emote, because I don't, and this is for anybody that is just going to be a podcast listener or just here on YouTube. This is me talking about for my stream and just overall brand presence, whether it be on YouTube, whatever. I don't want it to be of me, A, and B, I don't want it to force me into anything like the kind of Viking thing we had going on. I don't want to feel like I'm forced into like to stay on brand, being into Viking stuff all the time, you know? So I kind of like want to move into just something that's not of me, that could be like, you see some people have samurais, some people have that. I really like samurais, but I felt like that was super overdone, and I didn't want to, you know, fall into that same train of people that everybody has samurai. So I was like, I'm gonna go with like a Grim Reaper, like shadowy, like the ring wraiths from Lord of the Rings, like that shadowy shit, and like Harry Potter when the Death Eaters shadow away. Like that shit's always been so cool to me, man. So I thought like a Reaper-esque vibe would be cool. And I think I've got some ideas being drawn up right now, potentially. And yeah, just some like shadowy Reaper-ishness. Not going to be of me. It's going to be something that, can separate itself a little, and maybe different colors. I think the colors I like are green, black, and blue. I've had green and blue on these fans for a while now, and I've just really enjoyed it. All my lights in my PC have been green and blue, and I just like green and blue. Let's go with it. So I think that's what I'm gonna be doing. As far that's how we're kind of moving right now. It can always change, Nothing's set in stone yet, but I thought that would be pretty cool. The last even note I have here is it's actually about to be my birthday. December 13th, Friday the 13th. I'm going to be turning 29 years old. It's going to be a crazy year for me. A little like bet set slash promise to myself, between myself and my wife. After we Before we turn 30, we want to be the healthiest we've ever been in our lives. So that pretty much means, once I hit this 29th birthday, this whole year, next year, I'm going to be taking pretty seriously as far as health. Whether it be working out, eating healthier, I'm going to get by the end of the year, within a year's time of this video recording, I want to be the healthiest I've ever been in life. Most in shape, healthiest. So there's gonna be a lot of changes. It's gonna be a struggle, I'm sure. It's gonna be a journey. It's not gonna be easy, but it'll be cool to maybe look back on this in a year from now and to see what's different and see, see how I feel. So that's why I kind of put the birthday on there, because I wanted to talk about that deal and, kind of put it out there. Maybe have some people help hold me accountable. I don't really have a million YouTube subs. So maybe if just one or two of you guys bring it up throughout the times and help keep me accountable, that'd be kind of cool. I really think it'd be awesome to just continue, I don't know, to just get super, super healthy and then stay that way for a bit. Last time, after the wrinkle, I kind of was like, hey, I've worked out so much, I'm not going to work out again. So you can't make me. You're not my real dad. But you know what? I'm going to be a big boy about it. I want to, just take my health in my control and, just see what I can do. Challenge myself again. Put a challenge ahead of myself and go forward and see if I can meet it. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. But yeah, I think these podcasts, the goal starting out is going to be like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. See what we can do. I don't want to make them all like an hour long. Maybe if we have guests, they'll be slightly longer, but we've done a little over a half hour now. I've talked about all the things that I had in my notes for the time being. And yeah, I'm excited to start this journey with the podcast. I'm excited to continue the journey with the stream going forward. You can find me there later today, twitch.tv/Kyle Krunk. We're going to be playing a lot of Star Wars themed stuff. I think I'm going to give the Old Republic a go today if my internet's going to cooperate for streaming. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited about a lot of things. And even if this isn't the coolest thing ever to everybody, and if a lot of people don't like it, I like it. And it was awesome for me to just sit here and be able to talk about the things I wanted to talk about. And maybe we'll have other people to throw ideas off in the future. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys being here. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I told you I wasn't going to ask you to do those things that everybody on YouTube asks you to do, so I won't. And maybe we'll see you in a week on the Krunk Crew Debrief number 2. Krunk Crew, this has been a pleasure. Have a great day.